these nerds are making noise in the background, so I'm not able to talk very loud, so we'll just have to make do. Welcome to the Nonsense Power Hour. My name is Z, and today I'm hanging out with Mr. Lincoln in Springfield, Illinois. We're here at the Lincoln Presidential Library and Museum. There's a bunch of cool stuff inside. We're going to show you from the presidential election up to his death, including some other pretty cool stuff in between. So, if you're ready, Mr. President, I'm ready to show him. Start the intro. The war is over. It says it right there. The war is over. Lee's surrender at Appomattox Courthouse. There he is, signing his life over to General Grant. Take a moment if you want to read that. Pause the screen, do what you need to do to read it. And that is Lincoln's terms. But that is what prompted the war to be over. Because once you surrender, that's basically it. Now, as you walk in the library and museum, you are greeted with a very huge vestibule, including a model of the White House and the Lincoln family. Mr. President, how long have you been standing here for? What about you? Are you camera shy? Mrs. Lincoln, let's have a staring contest. You blinked. You just look pissed off, so I'm going to leave you alone. And you are the one that buried your dad under 10 feet of concrete and steel because you didn't think that somebody would want to steal his body. Which, by the way, Mr. President, did you know that somebody tried to steal your body? Are you not going to answer me either? Let's have a staring contest also. You blinked, I win. This is President Grant. Before he was President Grant, he was only General Grant. And this is his office. Yes, this is actually where Grant had his office. I have been to Grant's home where the Anheuser-Busch Clydesdales are, but yes, this is his office. And I'm pretty sure he spent many a hot, sweltering day in this office because back in 18 something or other, there was more than likely no air conditioning. Too bad you did not have air conditioning. And the other dude that he's giving the side eye to is some Union soldier with an epic mustache. And they are drinking what looks like tea. Union generals don't drink tea, they drink coffee that is thick as Mississippi mud. But if you want to drink tea, that's perfectly okay. I'm sorry I disturbed you, gentlemen. Carry on at ease. Story time! Excuse me, Mr. President. I'd like to talk to you about your extended buggy insurance, warranty. If you would come to the door, please, sir. I swear I'm not a telemarketer or door-to-door marketer. He's not home. How rude is that? I did the same thing at Valley Forge in Washington, didn't answer his door either. I don't know what it is with these famous, important people and not answering the door for me. Story Now, aside from the two guys standing out front having a very heated debate, looks like, this is a replica of the outside of the White House. And inside there is yet another wax figure of Mary Todd Lincoln in an awesome dress. Very floofy, Mrs. Lincoln. Now, what she's donning under the dress that makes it so floofy is 6 or 8 hoops. I would probably wager around about 8. I'd know 6 hoops. The rest of these dresses are absolutely gorgeous, and I would definitely rock one of these. I don't typically wear dresses, but in this instance, since they are pretty cool, I probably would. Especially this beautiful pink number here. And now we move on. Off the side room for the White House with Mrs. Lincoln and her gorgeous dresses are a huge, near floor-to-ceiling mural of what essentially started the Civil War. This is the attack on Fort Sumter. Who fired the first shells is still up to debate. And the war begins. Fort Sumter, South Carolina, April 12th, 1861. This is a United States map of what the southern states were. I was born there in Memphis, Tennessee. We now live here in Springfield, Illinois. I've been to all the states on the eastern seaboard. Got as far as Texas, but didn't go any farther. Awesome mural, even though from what it depicts is quite the gruesome hellscape. Cartoons. Now the newspapers and everybody else, they loved making drawings and descriptions of Lincoln, essentially making fun of him. Pretty much what we do nowadays, except for that they didn't have Facebook. So it's just basically showing Lincoln in certain instances as a tyrant because the South did not like Lincoln because of the whole 13th Amendment thing, which we'll get to that later on. But this is the next thing you guys experience in this museum, are all the caricatures of Lincoln. And yet we find another bust of Lincoln. This was the kitchen of the White House. Big old stove and coal-powered stove.
Mr. Seward whispered it to Mr. Nicolay, but I heard it just the same.
There's the coal right there, and proof. White House kitchen. I'm pretty sure that the stoves and whatnot in the White House today is not coal powered.
Believe what they do, not what they say.
But they seem to make a pretty good spread. You got turkey with carrots. You have what I'm assuming is roast beef. Looks like either pecan pie or something like that. I don't know, cherry pie, blackberry maybe, and fig or something like that. Chez, I don't know, radishes, apples, another pie that I can't see, and spices with dishes and a ham hanging and garlic. With what are these? Potatoes? So that's the White House kitchen. And we move on. So this situation here, the New York Tribune was up in arms about Lincoln coming up with the Emancipation Proclamation, which this hallway of talking heads are all going on and on about Lincoln and his Emancipation Proclamation. stating what it's going to do to the war, which he did as a military indigent too, because he felt his war powers did that. And this here is the Emancipation Proclamation.
You are taking our property, and it will destroy the country. No less than the Chief Justice.
So that's it right there.
Has ruled that African slaves are chattel, but no.
So he had been taken down to Children's Hospital, but that had nothing to do with it.
This is the War Gallery. You press on the screen like so, and it tells you what each picture is. For instance,
You don't have anything, your blood pressure is pretty good. And of course, they have another monitor and stuff at home since he's arrested.
and that was that one up there.
So they said, oh, because her baby wasn't with the baby, so he died.
Press the X, go back and find another picture, like this one here.
Home now. Yesterday. So,
And that's that picture right there. So this just explains to what all the pictures are. Now, this group of frustrated and flabbergasted individuals, headed over by Mr. Lincoln himself, is his cabinet. See if you can point this guy out. This guy there, who looks like he's hungover, looks like you've had too much to drink. That guy with the glorious beard. That guy there. And you. You there, sir. He clearly suffers from migraines. And these guys are, I don't know, discussing something very secretive. And then, of course, Mr. Lincoln standing by this special rope. If he were to pull this rope, it activates a machine gun turret and defends the White House. But yes, this is his cabinet, and they are planning, from what the map looks like, to take over Kentucky. So, funny story about this room and those guys sitting over there. My wife's grandmother, Lord rest her soul, she's hanging out with Jesus right now. Occasionally the museum will have a real person stand in here and stand very still for an obnoxious amount of time staring at these maps on the table. And she thought that one of the guys standing there was one of these rubber dudes. It's actually pretty funny. So, and she goes, "No, he's not a real person. That's a statue." He waved at her, scared her, and she ran off down the hall there. These are pretty cool. These are casts of Lincoln's face in 1860. So that's his face there. Fast forward 5 years, that is his face for that one. Look at how much he's aged from 1860 to 1865. Now, when you're receiving bad, jacked up news almost on a daily about people dying, the war effort, and everything else, yeah, that'll age somebody considerably. When you go from that to looking like you're frickin' 90, war will do that to you. Continuing on. Ford's Theater, another stop on the Lincoln train, is where they played My American Cousins. This is the play where John Wilkes Booth snuck in the back door because he was the equivalent of a very popular Broadway actor, even though this isn't Broadway, this is at Ford's Theater in Washington, where he snuck in. 25 cents to get into the theater. You can't even buy a frickin' gumball for 25 cents nowadays, but you can see what is the equivalent of a Broadway show for 25 cents. Interesting. And that's him. That's the dude right there. Excuse me, sir. I see what you're doing. You know, there's a lot of time travelers that would like to go back and stop you. But because people know you around this theater, you can sneak around like some weird, sneaky guy. That's him, John Wilkes Booth, right there. Hi, Washington. Glad you're the first president of the United States. We need to go to Mount Vernon so I can steal your teeth. Mr. Lincoln, you have some ne'er-do-well sneaking into your box. I would suggest that you alert this dude here. That's the same guy that was having tea with Grant outside the White House. Get over there and stop that guy. Lincoln and Mary, there's a dude sneaking in. If you don't do nothing about it, you're going to get shot. Do something. No? Fine. Continue watching the play. Do you see what happened now? The guy with the epic mustache didn't do anything, and now the president is dead. So being the rad guy that Lincoln was, this is the train tour. The funeral train. And I will show you the map in a few minutes to get my face out of the corner of my phone. Now, we will maintain some reverence, being that this is the depiction of a fallen president. So this is the coffin as he was laying in state with the father of our country in the background. Beautiful coffin. He is buried in Springfield, and we will show you that in a few minutes. And actually, here in Springfield, you can actually visit the room in the old state capitol where he actually was laying in state. But at this point in the video, I won't say anything else. I'll just show you around to keep some semblance of reverence. This is rather serious, so I will not be joking. If you remember from the Library Museum, the portrait of Washington and his coffin was laid out in state right there. And this is the wall without all the words on it. But this is the actual room where Lincoln was laying in state. His body would have been right there in 1865 during his farewell tour. It is really awesome to be in a room that holds such history. Now, I'm pretty sure that when he was in here all those years ago, it was probably standing room only, if that. And I'm sure it was probably smoke-filled because smoking laws didn't exist back there. You could smoke anywhere you wanted to, but that's beside the point. But yes, the portrait of Washington there in the background and Lincoln's coffin right there.